So, this is finally happening. Hello everybody. Welcome to our podcast. I am Goro Masaku.
I'm AsaniDragonscale.
And we are polyamorous. And we're going to give you guys a little bit of a tidbit about us. Welcome to our podcast. It's called Spoonful Poly. The whole purpose behind this is that we are both two people who do kitchen table poly, and we want to give you a spoonful of information so that we are always full and knowledgeable about polyamory. But before we can actually go into some genuine topics, we would kind of like to introduce ourselves and who we are. So let's get down to it. So who first?
I kind of want to do a disclaimer first.
Okay, go ahead.
We are not professional counselors or anything for anyone. We're just here to give our opinion. We're just here to explain how we live the lifestyle. We do not count for everyone who is in the poly lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Each relationship is something completely different from one another. So just take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, this is more of a perspective of our relationship, and we as individuals who've been, poly for together 3 years.
We've been together almost 4 years.
Almost 4, yeah. But we've kind of adapted and modified our relationship in time.
Right.
So we've encountered a lot of things. We've encountered our ups and downs in polyamory, whether if it was bad breakups, people trying to steal us from each other, a little bit of everything when it comes to those experiences. And in time, we've, I guess, created a relationship of which any polyamorous relationship should have. This is, understanding and communication is very strong for our relationship.
Any relationship.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying, our core thing is communication.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do anything without talking about it.
Right.
Not saying that any other polyamorous group doesn't, but that's our strong suit. So what better way to communicate by doing a fucking podcast? Yay! So, when do you want to rock, paper, scissors on who goes first?
Okay.
All right, on shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
I had rock. All right. So I guess I'll go first.
Hey, look, it's the first time you've won in a while.
Fuck you. And it's on something that really doesn't fucking matter as much. Like fucking podcast. So yeah. So yes, I am Goro Masaku or Masakuguru. Depending on if you use the Japanese way of reading it backwards. But so a little bit about me. I'm 32, and I am from North Carolina. I moved up here to Florida around when I was in the fourth grade, but moved back to North Carolina, finished high school. Then literally the next day, I moved back to Florida. During my time here in Florida, I've had my ups and downs. Any Floridian can say fucking it sucks, or it could be awesome. But around 2018, I just got out of a relationship, and from that relationship, I was introduced to polyamory. And I had met a person. I'm not going to say their name. I'm just going to say E for short, just because if they know who they are, if they're watching this, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So E, I was introduced to them, and they told me they were polyamorous, and I was like, what does that mean? And they kind of expressed what it was, and I was like, wow, that's fucking dope. And what's interesting about it is I kind of felt that way in my previous relationship when I was monogamous. And I kind of always had those moments of man, I have certain friends that I have strong feelings for, and it's not just on a friendship level. I actually love you. I don't have to do anything physical with you, but I fucking love you, And to some people, it could be weird to say that, because then, I do have moments of looking at them damn, they are hot as fuck too. I would do that, but I never, obviously.
Can I interject for just a moment?
What's up?
I think the saying "I love you" is more socially accepted from female presenting people.
It is.
Like, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with saying I love you to your friends just because you love them as a friend. There's literally nothing wrong with that. But female presenting people do it a hell of a lot more than male presenting people.
Exactly. I mean, not to say that it's like an emasculine thing, but like for a guy to tell their female presenting person, like, hey, I fucking love you, I know it can kind of be like seen as something else, and I feel like the same thing applies for like somebody female presenting to a male person. But I think what us as males, when we have male presenting people, when that happens, we're like, oh shit, what? That's weird. But it could be a masculine thing or whatever it may be. But besides the point, getting back into it. So yeah, they were my first introduction to polyamory, and they had, I want to say it was like 6 to 7 partners. So they had me, which I was technically their nesting partner. They had a couple they were dating, a person I think that was either in North Carolina or South Carolina, I can't remember, and a person in Norway, and then there was one other person. I never got to meet them. I may have heard about them, but since I was so new, I just didn't know where to go with it. So first introduction to it, and we dated almost a year, I believe, until we had a miscommunication. And weirdly enough, during that time I met you, but like we weren't like talking on that level.
We weren't.
Yeah, we met each other because of your previous partner.
Yeah, he had tried to get you to set up an event with me.
Yes.
And that he ended up getting jealous because I was talking to you so much.
Because I do massage therapy, so he wanted to set up for me to do like a massage and help them and they're stressing their back and stuff like that. So I agreed, and then around that time they were like, hey, well, before I have this person, touch me and give me a massage, can I at least speak to the guy? And he was like, yeah, because they were also polyamorous, so it should have been an issue. But to kind of go into finalizing where I left before I met you, me and this person had a miscommunication when a person they were dating violated their consent, and as their nesting partner, I felt like it was very important that they would tell me, because one of my biggest things in my relationship is that communication is very important. If you are not talking to me about shit, we have a problem. Or at least communication once a day. And communication went scarce for 3 days. And to me at that point, I felt like we were no longer dating, because one, you're now holding information from me because you know I would fuck that person up. And then two, my number one rule is at least minimum communication once a day. So now that's gone. Obviously, this is not a relationship, so I moved on. And kind of stopping there to give Asani the opportunity so he can kind of match so I am now at that point of
my backstory is a little longer than yours.
Okay, that's cool.
So if you want to finish first, and then we can jump back into my side.
No. I mean, that's perfect. I didn't go into super detail like all the adventures and stuff I did. I just, hey, I came to Florida. I got out of a relationship. I met this person. I got into polyamory. This didn't work out, and I met you. So you can kind of either do the same. I just kind of summarized it as much as possible.
Okay. So my poly experience, I became interested in poly and the lifestyle that we lead through Wattpad, which is a reading app. Amateur people or amateur writers will go ahead and write stories on Wattpad. They don't have to pay publishers to publish it. They don't have to pay for advertising or anything. You just add whatever tags that you need on there that pertain to your story, and then people can go on there and look for those tags and then read what you wrote.
Okay, but you still got to introduce yourself as like, I'm from such and such, and and your age and shit.
So are you going to crop this out?
No, I can keep it in.
Okay. So I'm currently 27. I moved down here from Germany when I was 15. And I'd moved to Germany from Kansas when I was 4. So that's where my life story goes through. I moved down to Florida when I was 15. I was reading a whole bunch of stuff on Wattpad and getting into like multiple partners and stuff like that. My first 2 experiences with poly were crap. They were shit. And my third one wasn't much better. So this is my 4th experience with poly. Like, this is my 4th relationship in which I am actively polyamorous with someone. So my first poly...
I didn't fucking know that. That's dead ass.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild. I didn't know that.
So my first polyamorous relationship, I didn't realize it was actually poly. So the guy that I was dating long distance, and he lived in Minnesota. So we had a time difference, and then we had the distance between us. So I would go to school, I would come home, and we would talk and interact and do what you do in a long distance relationship. So that ended when I realized that he was really freaking creepy, because he kept getting younger girls than me involved, and he was 24, 22, something like that. But that lasted like 2 or 3 years, during which I did actively date other people that were in my area.
Make sure you stay close.
Okay.
Not like super close, but just making sure.
Right. No. So then my second relationship was a high school relationship after I had broken up with the first guy, because I just wasn't down with what he was doing anymore. And then that ended almost 3 years later. I had already graduated when we started dating, and he had decided that he wanted us to have an open relationship, which I was fine with, and we did end up having a girlfriend that we had together. We had 2 of them, not at the same time though. And then that relationship ended when we were living together, and he took off with our girlfriend to another state.
That's that motherfucker. I was like, who the fuck is this person you
No, that's him. That's him. And then because I was a stupid 22-year-old and rebounding, I ended up with my previous partner before you, which that was a shit show too. So he was extremely jealous. He did not really... He would say he was okay with us dating other people, and then he would get really jealous and mad when we would. So he had one other partner that lived with us, and that ended in total disaster after he introduced you to me.
And we can kind of talk about how we talked about how we met each other, but like literally in the sequence of we went to dinner. We went to dinner with some friends, and you know, he knew me from the event and stuff like that. Was like, hey, yo, would you be cool with doing this? And I'm like, yeah, I could totally do that, no problem. And then we kind of go into the scenario of now, I guess you could say 2 hurt individuals finally like meeting and stuff like that, because
we were both very neglected in our relationships at the time, and we didn't realize it until after those relationships had ended.
See, I won't say that too much. I would say with E's situation, it wasn't neglect. It was more of, I mean, there was some other things that were going on that I'm not going to specify. Let's just say a lot of so-called rip condoms, and to me that just kind of felt fugazi. Because I mean, I understand mistakes happen, but like in a row, like the fuck. There were a lot of things, but I feel like the nail in the coffin was that, like, I don't care if it could have been like we were perfect together. The minimum 1-day communication is required for me. I will not accept anything but, because I'm very much of a person that needs to make sure that you are okay. If you are not in my facility on a regular, I am very much the person that makes sure whoever I'm with, I need to make sure you're secure. I need to make sure you're safe. And I feel like, not saying that you need me to feel safe, but from my brain to know that you're safe, at least some kind of form of communication, you know?
Did you mean facility or vicinity?
Vicinity, excuse me. Vicinity. Thank you for fucking. Always helps me. Beeping that out. Beeping that out. Asani always helps me with that shit. With my words, because sometimes I just mean something else that I don't mean.
just so people are aware, I'm not doing this to make him look stupid or to make him feel bad about the way he talks. I'm doing this because he has dyslexia and flips his words constantly.
I do have dyslexia. So, but besides the point, yeah, with the situation with E, it was just literally a miscommunication. So, literally around this time, I was moving from an apartment to another apartment, and I really, before the scenario happened between me and them not communicating, they were going to help me with my move. And I was really frustrated, already having back and forth with the roommate I had previously, literally booting me out beforehand because he wasn't really cool with a friend at the time hanging out with me frequently there. So I was really fucked. I didn't have money for movers. I had to do everything myself. So this is when Asani texted me, and with you texting me, you had your own scenario that happened.
Right. So this was kind of like fate going, okay, fuck off from the people you're dealing with right now, and go do stuff with this guy. So what had happened was my partner had already broken up with me at that point. He had cut things off, and we were still living together.
Can you specify why y'all broke up?
So the first thing he told me was that he couldn't handle my mental health issues. And then the second thing he told me was that our other partner had expressed discomfort with me being an active partner anymore. And then after that, he had expressed that his new partner, who was, it was very, very fresh, new relationship energy. And he was doing everything he could to please this person. She had told him he wasn't comfortable, or she wasn't comfortable with me being the way I am. And had told him to break up with me. So that's the three different stories I was told.
No, they were engaged too.
We were engaged, and then he broke off the engagement after he met this new person.
And come to find out, he just went to Walmart and just picked a ring. To me,
it was literally a $55 ring. I saw the ring at Walmart, and I saw the price tag, and I was like, okay.
And I'm
not a materialistic person.
Yeah.
I don't care if the ring is $5 if it meant something when you gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
But looking back at our relationship, I honestly think he was just doing these things to ensure that he had an extra source of income in the household and some place to live. Because he was living with me and my parents before we moved into our own place.
Sheesh. Yeah, I feel like that was the thing. It's just more so like there wasn't any sentimental value, like of let me get this and get it some way symbolizing you, and let me make sure I get the cut that you want. Like just something. It just felt like he was like, this'll do, and
right.
You know, like that's kind of how that felt.
He proposed on Christmas in front of my parents and hadn't asked my parents beforehand.
See, and I made sure once you told me all that shit, I was like, man, I gotta do this the right way. I gotta do this the right way, bro.
It helps that my parents freaking love you.
Really?
Yes, they do. They literally, they looked at me and they went, if you hadn't said yes to him, we would have beat you.
Damn, bro. Like, for real? Like, honestly, that makes me want to cry. Like, low key. Like, wow. All right. That's really good. That's really good.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you cry.
No, you're good. I didn't know that. But I'm good. I really didn't know that. No, like one of those things. I know my mom loves you, and not saying I don't like. I totally appreciate your parents. I love your parents. It's just I know I never like I guess got to hear on their side like how they felt. So to hear that, it's like, wow.
My parents aren't very open with the way they feel.
Yeah, no, I know that from how they even interact with each other. It's just, I just didn't know that. So that, yeah. Anyway, wow. So yeah, getting back to where it's at. Getting back to
I love you.
I love you too. Getting back to where it was at. You had that moment when you came home, and the thing happened.
Right. I came home, and at the time, my dog had a litter of puppies that I was touting back and forth with me to work. Keep in mind, I was 4 minutes away from my job. So I was dragging my dogs back and forth with me because I didn't want to leave them at home with him and my other ex-partner because they had made several complaints about my dogs, even though they had their own dog, and their own dog got to free roam the house. Mine did not. Mine were in a crate in my room when I was not home, and they decided that it wasn't good enough, so they would complain about it. Aside from that, I had gotten home. I was taking the mama dog inside, and he and his new partner were naked on the living room floor, and my dog, I didn't know she was there, and he'd asked me to text him or call him before I came home to let him know I was on my way, which I did. Just as a general good roommate thing, I was like, hey, I'm coming home. I don't know what you're doing, but this is your warning. 4 minutes later, I'm at the front door. I open the door. My dog goes nuts because she's never met this person before. And she didn't like this lady to begin with. She literally did not like her. She would growl every time she came over. It was a whole thing.
I remember her, and I remember I didn't like her. So
right,
and I'm
she was really. She had. I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want anyone. Yeah. But
dog ass.
I didn't like her. So my dog went nuts and lunged at her. She didn't bite her. She didn't get in her face or anything. She lunged at her because it's a stranger in her home, which is understandable. So my ex jumps up, yells at me. I put my dog in my room. I put my puppies in my room. And then I take off and I go cry in the pet supermarket parking lot because I didn't know where else to go because I didn't want to face my mom at that time because she was just going to be like, oh, well, I'm sorry. Which I get it. My mom doesn't always do a whole lot of the mushy feelings thing. But I didn't want to deal with that at the time.
Well, at the same time, she didn't like that motherfucker. So if you had to tell,
right,
hey, this is what happened. We had an argument or whatever, and I'm gone. Like to be like, well, you know, and the way your mom is like, well, you know, I would never dated him, but you know, I love you. And it's funny. This is so fucking funny because with my previous relationship and I was getting ready to propose to her, I remember telling my mom like, hey, this is what's going to happen. Like, I'm going to do it. Like, what do you think? And she was just like, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but like, you know, it's you. I'm going to support you. I just don't like her. And I was like, damn, like, wow, like, mom, like, I'm telling you this thing that's really important to me. Like, I'm thinking about proposing to this girl, and you don't have an opinion? I don't like her, but, you know, she makes you happy. And I'm like, damn. So I remember I sat there, and literally that was the decision that made me break up with her finally. Granted, like, and again, not to say she was a bad person. It was just, it was a level of two individuals who didn't know how to express what they needed. And then literally when the breakup happened, we both expressed like at that point why we were in turmoil in our relationship. So whenever I finally was like, hey, I'm done. And then she was like, wow, you told my mom you was going to propose to me. Like, what the fuck happened? It's like, you know what? I felt like I was doing it out of duty because of how our relationship progressed. I didn't feel like I was doing it because I loved you. I feel like I should make an honest woman out of it because of how our relationship progressed. And I know for some people, they can say that's a really wild way to do that, but like, I was a wild kid in my 20s, bro. And for her to like basically like, boom, you got to grow the fuck up. You got to fix these things. And not saying that I was doing anything reckless, but like,
you were being a typical 20-year-old.
Yeah, and she matured me very much. So I will say I thank her for now my level of maturity as an adult. If it wasn't for her, I would have probably never level the fuck out. I'll probably be still doing some of the same jobs and doing some of the same things I've always did, but she definitely matured the fuck out of me. So I do say in that relationship, I appreciate the hell out of her for that, because I did work wise, I now know my worth. But continuing on, you had that moment, and then all of a sudden I'm having this moment where I no longer have my person because of the communication that happened between us, and we're no longer a thing. And next thing you know, I'm texting Asani, and next thing you know, they're like, hey, well, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm getting ready to move. I need some help, but like the person that was supposed to help me is not here anymore. And they were like, well, fuck it, I'm not doing anything. Well, let me fucking help you. So literally the first time we're hanging out with each other since their previous partner was telling me like, hey, could you do the massage or whatever. Now they're actually helping me move into my apartment. So they meet my mom literally the first day, and
I walked into your mom's house and I was like, hi, I'm so and so, and your mom was like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. And then I helped you move a mattress, and you told me she looked at you and she went, are you sure you're not dating her?
Yeah, like literally. And I was like, I told her this straight up. I said, we that's no, we didn't fuck at that point. Actually, we didn't fuck at that point.
You told her you would like to.
I told her. Well, and that's gonna sound wild for people hearing it. Like, you told your mom you want to fuck them? Like,
but you tell your mom everything.
Yeah, my mom knows everything. That's a fact. Every escapade I have ever done. But yeah, so like I said, we were both just, having this moment, and then, once I finally moved to my apartment, got stuff situated and settled in, we just connected. And
well, I think we were both I think we were both kind of upset and using each other for comfort at that time,
which sounds bad.
It does, but we weren't like it really does sound bad, but it's not bad. It was a mutual thing. It was a mutual understanding between us, which is where I think the biggest difference is. It wasn't one person using someone else. It was both of us using each other.
That use my body to satisfy you. Anyway, so now we are talking more frequently, and we both you kind of established that
I wasn't comfortable jumping into a relationship just yet.
Yes. This is at the point we both have broken up with our partners, and we're now both freely single again. And we just started hanging out all the time. We had a couple of friends we used to hang out. Well, some friends we still hang out with, other ones we don't. Shout outs to we can say Brandy's name. She doesn't give a fuck. Shout outs to Brandy. I love the fuck out of Brandy, goddamn it. And the other people, love y'all too, miss y'all too. Just another thing of communication that I was working on. While my previous relationship helped me mature myself, my level of communication grew from the experience that I have with these people. So how I communicate now is definitely for the better. So yeah. So we start hanging out with these people, and during this time as well, we kind of showcased that, hey, like, we actually really like each other more than we expected. And you expressed that you did not want to have a relationship immediately, and I said, okay, that's cool. Whenever you're fucking ready, you let me know, because I'm here.
My thing was, I didn't want our relationship to be another rebound and end up going south, and we could have prevented it by taking more time beforehand to get to know each other, which I'm so glad we ended up doing that, because if we had started a relationship while I was still in that mindset, it probably wouldn't have lasted.
I feel like it would have. I feel like because of who we are as lovers and what we value, I feel like no matter what, we still would have clicked, because it's still our energy. Knowing
my mindset at that time, that's not to say that you wouldn't have been a good partner. I wouldn't have been a good partner.
Okay. I
was working through my own stuff, so I wouldn't have been able to give you the attention or interaction that you wanted in a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been a hell of a lot more self-centered.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Knowing that you were willing to interact with me without having that label helped me realize that it wasn't a rebound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, and then it gets to the point where finally the day you do the shit, and guess when they fucking did it, y'all? Was it Christmas or Christmas
It was
Eve?
Christmas Eve. I asked him out, and he was like, you really had to do this on Christmas Eve, didn't you? It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda.
So we don't technically celebrate our anniversary on Christmas Eve. It's before Thanksgiving, right? It's like November.
It's usually around mid-November.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that's when my birthday is.
Yeah, but that's kind of when it happened though, when you finally was like, you technically expressed the interest of moving forward with a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, cool. So, so I said, are we actually dating? It was like, no, this is just letting you know that I'm now actually interested in the idea. So I kind of used that date as when we kind of made it official.
Right.
But both of us don't even remember the actual fucking day. You just know it's in fucking November. And I know some people can say, how the fuck do you not remember the date? It's like,
because we both have mental disorders that affect our memory.
no, not even that. It's just the simple fact that it was just a random ass day.
Right.
We just know it was early November, and I'll just say so we just do the first week of November. We do our anniversary.
Sorry, I'm a little distracted right now. I'm sorry. I'm messaging. Why? The lady that I'm house sitting for messaged that she just got back into town. So I was thinking I had to go back up there tonight, and I don't.
Okay.
Which I do still have to go back up into that area because I have a dog to take care of at another place. But I don't have to go there anymore. She just got home.
That's
cool.
So now we're dating. And with that, we both, during this time, we didn't start officially dating until I moved. No, I didn't move to Austin at that point, did I?
No, we were dating before that.
Okay,
we
so I was still at the apartment.
We started dating like a half a year before that.
Yeah.
And then you moved on to Austin.
Yep.
And I ended up like 4 or 5 months later, ended up moving in with you.
Yeah. Which I'm gonna tell y'all, the day they finally moved in was like. Cause like I'm already that kind of person where if the energy's there, I don't want you to go. Like there'll be some days they'll be laying around. It's like, well, I gotta go home. I was like, no, just sleep over, bro. So
it would have worked if I didn't have dogs to take care of.
It would.
I like literally the only dog I was able to move into the house with you at that time was Chi Chi.
Yeah. R.I.P. Chi Chi. R.I.P. Chi Chi. Now talking about Chi Chi, Jesus Christ, she was such an annoying fuck sometimes, but like,
you loved her. You can't deny it.
I loved her in Austin when I was in the place in Austin because she was a companion at that point. She would be by my side. She would lay next to me. She wasn't but when we finally moved here, she just, I don't know what flipped, bro.
Well, she started going a little senile at that point. She was 13 years old.
Bro, she did not like me when we moved over here, bro. I was a terror in her eyes.
The way she was at Austin was the way she was for most of her life. So the beginning of her life, she was the way that she was when we moved here. Mm-hmm. And then once she turned 3, it kind of leveled out a little bit.
Anyway, so we were in this smaller house in Austin, and then we finally moved to where we're currently at the moment. And we've been rocking it ever since then, pretty much. During that time, we both had a girlfriend. Well, technically girlfriend.
Technically, yeah.
Technically girlfriend. Well, technically, they were dating Asani, and then kind of like slightly dating me too. Granted, like me and that person were like spending all the time in the world together, and they were technically dating you, but it was fucking
right because of my work schedule.
Yeah.
It was. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that anymore. It was a long distance thing though.
It was a long distance thing, and it fucking sucks because it's like we're at the point of finally like meeting them and then spending time together, and it just like went to shit. So it's like everything beforehand, beautiful, loved it, but the next thing you know, yeah. And then we had another person who kind of rubbed you the wrong way, an older person that rubbed you the wrong way because they showed up with flowers at your job.
Oh, yeah. No, that was before we moved here.
Yeah, but still, we're talking about like now relationships.
Right. So I had just started interacting with this person and they went full creep level.
Yep.
Like, I don't think it was intentional, but I think that's just the way they are.
I think what had happened was it was like we did a thing and then kind of wanted to express that since they could see me, they knew how to express that with me. But for you, I guess they just really try to find a way that would be beneficial. And
But sending flowers to my job when I haven't given you my work address is a bit much.
correct. And then that's why I said at the same time, you do have that shit on your Facebook.
Well, I posted the picture thinking that they were from you.
No. What I'm saying is like your actual, the place you work, you have it on your Facebook.
Okay, but I have where I work, but I don't have the address.
Okay, so
They literally had to do some snooping to figure out where I worked.
no, so all they had to do was go to your Facebook, see that where you work,
No,
and then look up the address and then send it there.
I get that. However, I never gave them any kind of inclination that I wanted that or that I was interested in them in that way. I was looking at them as like a friends with benefits kind of thing.
See, yeah,
And they were looking for a relationship.
yeah. That's what
And
happens to you every time with female presenting people, honestly. Like any female presenting person just wants to f the shit out of you.
If you want to be in a relationship with me, express it. Don't just randomly start sending me gifts, because I've had horrible interactions with people before where they've sent me gifts and they've sent me things to try and win me over, and it's like, I'm not a materialistic person. If you want to be in a relationship with me, do something with me. Spend time with me. Talk to me. We can go to the movies. We can go walk in the park. I don't care what we do. It doesn't have to be expensive. I feel weird accepting gifts. If I'm not actively in a relationship with a person, I feel weird accepting gifts. It makes me uncomfortable.
That's cool. What I'm saying at the end of the day, that's just what I've noticed. Anytime you've dated somebody female presenting, they're always trying to like that's it's just wild.
To be fair, that was also before I realized that I'm more on the asexual scale than anything else.
Yeah, because I was in yo crazy, bro. Anyway, it was damn near like every time we saw each other was like smacking cheeks. But yes, so we've had that situation. We had one person who, God, the energy was just fucking wild. And then I did date a person. We'll just say their name is C. You're kind of out of frame, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good. I dated a person. Their name was C. And really great experience, honestly. Outside of you, one of the best relationships I had for a while. And then we ended things in last November. Very saddening moment for me. But the number one thing was, again, communication.
Well, they had their own things that they were going through at the time too.
Yeah,
so.
but they basically knew, because of what I needed communication wise, they were just like, I'd rather not make you wait until I'm ready to do stuff again. And it's like, that's cool. I mean, I'm not saying I won't date you again, but like, take as much time as you need and come back to me when you're ready. But I would just prefer that you keep me close by, so that way, like, if you need me, I'm here. But I guess ever since then, they just haven't needed me. Never need to text, but they still follow me.
They still follow me too, and I still follow them. They're doing great right now, from what I can tell.
I just wish
I'm happy for them.
I just wish they were here still. But I'm not really gonna get into that. Anyway, yeah. So I dated C, and then I think we've had our, like I said, other encounters where we'll talk to people and just
So far, they've never really gone anywhere. Like, they're just conversations.
It's more so the simple fact I know for me, any other person that I've talked to, they always feel like they're overstepping you, especially if we're doing something.
I'm literally not like that, though.
I know, but I just don't know why people feel that way when you're generally not that kind of person. Like, oh shit, so she's coming to my space and y'all doing this. The fuck? Like,
here's a vocabulary word for all of our viewers: compersion. I feel compersion when you have another partner and you're happy with them and you're spending time with them and you get to have these other interactions outside of myself because you're getting something from them that you're not getting from me. Compersion is feeling happiness or joy when your partner is active with another partner.
I didn't know that shit. College word. But yeah, it's even weird because like you get like super happy when people flirt with me
because it's cute. I think it's adorable when people flirt with you because you'll flirt back and I get to watch you do that.
So you basically want to watch me when I'm spitting game?
Yes.
Why?
Because I think it's cute that other people get to experience that aside from me.
That's fucking hilarious to be like, so that's how you be getting bitches.
No.
That's literally what it's saying.
No, because you need those interactions.
No, it's not even that. It's just funny. It's just like you say they be like, so that's how you be getting bitches. Okay.
I can't flirt worth a shit. I will start to flirt and then someone will say something a little more out of pocket than I just said, and I'll get red and flustered and I'll shut down. I will literally stop responding the way I was before.
So like how Jill be flirting with you and be like, yo, Asani's fucking hot and stuff like that, and you be in the background. Yeah, so Asani's the kind of person that you got to pursue them. They will not pursue you.
Well, it's not so much that, it's that I don't know how to pursue someone without, I don't want to come across as creepy.
So what about with E, the other E that we were with?
Well, we had a couple of interactions without us having that kind of energy beforehand already.
Okay, because when I came home that day and you were just like, I don't know, man. I was like, what is this? This is not you.
Well, that was mutual energy exchange as well.
Okay. Just
that wasn't just me pursuing them or just them pursuing me.
Mm-hmm.
That was mutual.
You just took charge and that shit. Like, oh. What did I miss when I was gone? So
I've been doing that with Brandy a bit more too.
I've noticed. And it's still fucking hot as shit.
I think I've flustered her quite a bit though.
Yeah, because she's not used to it. You know, like we used to all do a thing every once in a while. We don't do it as much as we used to. But then like we've been more friends than anything. So
well, we still have those interactions. It's just not as frequent as it used to be.
There's a difference between doing multiple threesomes and then just being friends. There's a difference.
Okay, but considering what else we do in our free time, that's
it is.
There's some leeway there.
I'm just saying, like, that's like me going to the gym consistently and then not going to the gym and expecting the same muscles to still be there. It's not gonna happen. It's just a little bit different energy. But aside from the point, we had that, and what else? I know you're talking to somebody currently.
I am. He's really sweet. He's like 2 hours away from me though, so it's probably gonna end up being mostly a long distance thing.
The person B, right now is like friendship, but like they're fucking in Washington D.C. It's long distance shit too. Like for some reason, local motherfuckers they can't. I don't know what it is, bro. Like
I promise, I'm not mean.
I'm not either, bro. Like no, remember we've been told so many times that our relationship is apparently too healthy for them to be a part of.
Why?
Remember?
That's the first time I'm hearing this. That makes no sense.
So remember the person who's this person? It's when you speak out loud and it bounces. Think about it. E starts with an E.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That person specifically stated that your relationship is too healthy. I need a little bit of toxicity in my in my relationship.
Okay, so that's a them problem then.
Yes, it is.
Because if if you're still out there looking for a toxic element in your relationship, you probably shouldn't be in a relationship. You should be working on yourself.
But at the same time, they were not the first person that said that. I've had multiple people that say that because of the boundaries that we have set for ourselves in our relationships.
I think we're just a lot more mature than people expect us to be.
That is a thing, but I just really hate how like some people look at us and be like, damn, like those are people I will settle down with. I'm not ready to settle down. That's generally what we do.
That's fair. Not everyone is at the same path or stage in their life as we are.
But
like, I'm not
waste my time, bro. Why waste my time, bro? Why get me all into this shit and then waste my fucking time, bro? That shit hurts. I'm one that is really big on loyalty and duty. That's my Bushido decree is Chugi, and any person I'm with, I am loyal, and my duty is to make sure that you are satisfied, happy, and relieved when you're around me. So to have
the biggest goal in life, be a safe space for your partner.
Literally, I want my partner to be like, damn, my fucking day sucked. This weekend, I have to see you because the energy you give me relieves me.
That was literally how our relationship kick-started.
Literally. And that's what I want every relationship that I have with somebody to be, is to kind of be their safe space from all the bullshit that they deal with. But every time that happens, people are just like, wait, this is scary because you are that safe space, and I don't want to seem like I'm needy. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You're okay. I just rather you feel comfy around me and feel like you, not say you necessarily need to be around me, like you got to be clingy, but like to say, you know how everybody says they need their reset in life, or like they, you know, you smoke to be relieved of the stress of the world.
Right.
I want to be that stress relief. Being around me, feeling that comfort is what is your stress relief. You can still smoke the weed and do all your stuff you do, but like, I want you to be like, man, I had a really shitty week. I need to go see Maz because Maz is going to help me, you know, with the shit that's going on in my world. So that's all I want to be for my partner. Luckily, with our relationship now, you don't have to do that no more.
Right. I don't have that much stress in my life anymore. Most of my stress now comes from work, and that is it. Yeah. I don't have that much stress from my other relationships with people as I used to.
No. And that's kind of why Brandy and us, we don't really do other activities as much anymore, because during that time with Brandy, like, they were extremely stressed with the stuff they were dealing with the place they were living. So like seeing each other every other weekend and hanging out and doing adventures was very important to them.
I pride myself in the fact that I am able to be your escape. I am able to be your sanctuary from the stresses in life. And I am incredibly proud of the fact that you are able to be vulnerable around me.
That's all I want to be, bro. Is vulnerable with any fucking person, and I'm with on that level. Like, as you know, people in this lifestyle, being vulnerable with each other is very important. So that's like the key thing with any person that I'm dating, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I tell people like, yo, we gotta, you know, get together, sit down and chat, but like on another level. And just talk and then like understand each other's psyches and stuff like that. Like, I will say, from the relationship I had with C, I kind of really value that. So I'm noticing, like, as any person, when you're dating, every relationship should be elevating you for the next person, and not to say in a sense of you need to keep getting elevated so you can finally be perfect for the right person, but you should never be the same person. Yeah, you should never be stagnant and the same person you were when you left the relationship. Something should change about you to be better for the next person.
Every interaction you have in the world is a chance to grow.
Yes.
It's a chance to better yourself. It's a chance to change the way you do things to better serve yourself and your purpose. I believe that if you find a partner that you're able to grow with, that is the greatest fucking thing in the world. There is nothing better to me than a partner that is willing to grow with or without me, with or without my input, but would prefer that it be with me.
Because, like, I mean, when my previous job, when I used to to travel, fuck, man, I used to hate being in my hotel rooms and be like, fuck, I'm not sleeping with Asani. Like, I dread the idea of going to conventions and shit because, like, I know, oh, I'm not going to be in the same space with Asani. And I know some people can say that's like dependency or some shit like that. But it's just like,
it could be viewed as extreme codependency.
Yeah,
but that's just who you are as a person.
No, but what I'm saying, like, in the sense of, you know, always like coming home to your safe space. That's pretty much what it is. Like, if I'm traveling and I'm at a con, I'm obviously not going back to my safe space. I'm going to a place I'm not familiar with. And I think that's the autistic side of me a little bit.
That is part of that.
Yeah, so it's like going to where you're familiar with is more so what I'm talking about. I'm familiar with my bed. I'm familiar with being in that space with you, and when I'm not there, it doesn't feel right. So, I mean, I could still go out and do those things. It's just like I'd rather be in the familiar space. That
just made me think of one of those memes that I saw where it's a couple and they had just had a fight. And they're going to bed, and the guy turns over to his partner after a couple of minutes of laying in bed and goes, "If you don't come over here and lay your head on my shoulder so we can go to sleep."
Dead ass, bro. Dead ass. I don't care what kind of argument, whatever had. Look, this is what we do. But granted, I'm not saying that me and Asani are perfect. I mean,
we both have flaws.
We've never argued. That's what I'm saying. Like, for relationships,
right?
For us to say we have never argued, some people be like, "Man, that's some flawed shit." Like, no, we've had disagreements.
Right. We'll have discussions around those disagreements, but we won't. We're not combative with each other.
No, not at all.
That is never the goal. When you're in a relationship with someone and you value them as a person, your goal is not to antagonize them. It is not to go ahead and get into an argument or an extreme disagreement with them. It's not to hurt them. You're with a person you're wanting to grow with, hopefully. If that person isn't willing to grow with you through arguments or disagreements, there's a problem.
Big facts. So, I don't raise my voice at any person that I'm on that level with. I ever since my relationship with M back in 2015, I will never raise my voice at a person that I am supposed to be. If I love you on that level, I'm not gonna ever be like, "Yo, I'm tired of you doing this and it." No, it's not gonna happen. Like, you can sit down and talk to me like a fucking adult, and we can have a conversation like adults. Kids fucking yell. That's just me. But
well, we've had plenty of trauma in our past relationships too, so we've sat down and had discussions on what our triggers are. And what we can do to alleviate those triggers or to alleviate the anxiety that comes from making requests or talking about things that are bothering us. It's literally the only other way I can think to describe it is we've had contract discussions where we've laid out terms and conditions
purchasing fees, return policies and shit.
Yeah, no, there's no return policy. You're stuck.
Okay. Unless I'm taken. But anyway. Continue on.
But no, we've sat down and had discussions over how we're going to approach things. Like, there's been a couple of times where when we first moved in together, you would ask me certain things in a certain way that would trigger me, and I didn't realize that was a trigger until after it happened.
Oh yeah.
And then we went back and we discussed why I reacted that way.
Yeah, I remember that.
My biggest thing, because I have lashed out at previous partners before, that is something I hate that I did that. I feel so bad that I did that. And me being able to move past that and work on my emotions and the way I react to things is a big part of my personal growth.
Fact.
So when we're able to sit down and have discussions, I am so much more, I don't want to say in tune. I'm so much more engaged in the solution than the reaction.
Okay. And I think we've gotten to the point where we are now in the episode where this is where we are. We're just two people who are polyamorous, and you know, we kind of go with more of the kitchen table poly, because no matter with the person that you're currently talking to, I want to be able to sit and share a space and be like, hey, yeah, we both love and care for this person. We don't technically have to date each other. We could totally be metas, but like family, you know, I'm really big on creating that family. And it's just funny because of recently we kind of expressed of always wanting a polycule or a triad, whatever the fuck you want to call it. There's so many different terms for so many people.
Not necessarily a triad.
Oh, okay.
Triad is referring to 3 people who are all dating each other.
I thought it was throuple.
That too, but triad, that's pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Oh, okay, yeah, because triad was more of the older way, and then like when social media kind of got a hold of it, was throuple.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it was.
We want to be able to have a poly family.
I want to fucking try, bro. We got fucking arrows on, spears and shit, wearing the silk things with my sling out if it wants to, and just be on some like type shit, you know. Try, bro. Yeah, and then create our own language and shit. Anyway, we just want to polycule a family and whatnot, and
the absolute last thing I want is for my partners to compete with each other.
Yeah,
that is not the goal in a polyamorous relationship.
Facts. So that's just kind of where we are and what we both want, and as we continue our journey into polyamory, we're going to continue having these kind of conversations of, you know, some of the things we've explored, some of the things we looked into. You know, we're gonna even pull up hopefully topics that you guys bring to us in the future as well. So we just hope you guys will stay along with us for this journey as we grow in our relationship, grow in the relationship with you guys as viewers, and continue to fill you with knowledge about us, about polyamory, and another thing that we're going to do later on in the future.
What's that?
The study of the...
Oh.
Which is going to be a Patreon thing.
That is something we're going to get more into at a later date.
Can't wait, bro. It's going to be so fucking fun.
You know, you're going to have all these people, like, curious as to what the hell you're talking about.
That's
now.
the whole point. It makes them watch the fucking next episode. I got to give you a reason to come the fuck back, you know? So, I think our next episode, what do you probably want to go into? We can go into some maybe basic topics of polyamory, or I know one of these episodes I want to go into my needs, wants, and requirements thing too.
Yes, that is definitely a topic we should get into. That is something I think is a mandatory topic.
Do you want to do that next?
We can do that next, or we can wait until like the 3rd episode, because I don't want people to think that we're just here to give relationship advice. This is literally just about our life.
Let's just do a basic topic. We can go to a friend. Ooh, I know our friend Mystique, they had a topic they wanted to discuss and whatnot, and you know, we definitely want to be able to have guests. We're also looking to have guests, whether if you're local or not, but just other people who are polyamorous, and just having different discussions. We're hoping to have a couple of friends of ours soon. Nuki and Spooks, Mystique and her husband, and just other people that we know who are in the lifestyle, and just bringing them along and seeing it like this is not just us just talking together, but talking to other people. But I want to again say thank you guys so much. If you like the video, please subscribe, as well as like and comment. You know, what do you guys think of us so far, and kind of some of the things you may want in future episodes and perspectives. But
I do apologize for the little rambles. I know we were trying to avoid those.
We good. But it's your boy Goro Masaku
Asani,
and this is Spoonful of Poly. We hope you are now full with that knowledge, and come back when you are empty, deprived, and ready to be fulfilled again. Till next time.
Bye.